Okay, we are in Chesed Beis 18b. So again, the Mishnah is discussing.
Well, these numbers, 18b comes out to 38. Is that on purpose? 18 times 2?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
So, as you noted, the Mishnah. Sorry.
I'm going to say it again. You just keep your focus on.
Okay, thank you. The Mishnah is discussing the requirement of the verse, which states that when after the kohen administers the vow of the Sotah responds with a double expression, Amen, Amen. We explained that the double expression is to allow for the husband or the kohen to add other elements to the vow. The essence of the vow is that she did not engage intimately with the guy with whom she's being suspected. And we add other things, that she wasn't unfaithful with other men, that she wasn't unfaithful during engagement. Yesterday, we discussed that if this is a marriage to the brother after her first husband died without children, then they can add that she didn't misbehave during the waiting time. And now the Gemara moves on to discussing Rabbi Meir's opinion. Rabbi Meir has a unique opinion, which is, we could read the words here. Rabbi Meir said, quoting the Mishnah, Amen shaloy netmesi v'cholu. She says Amen, she affirms that she didn't misbehave, and then she affirms and takes upon herself a vow that she will not misbehave in the future. So this is unique. All the other statements of the Mishnah are all about the past, taking a vow to affirm that she was faithful throughout various different times, different people, and so on. Now, Rabbi Meir adds that you can even add to the vow a vow that's a promise, not a vow about an event, but a vow about the future, that I will not misbehave in the future. I will stay faithful. So it says the Gemara as follows in elaboration. Just to add one more point, and this is what the Gemara is going to clarify now. Any person can take a vow about behaving in the future. A person can get up and say, I vow that today I'm going to give X amount of charity, or I'm not going to speak during davening. I don't know. You can make whatever vow you want. But here specifically, if the vow is being added to the vow of the Sotah, then the curse that comes along with that vow applies to whatever else is being added. That's right. So if she's vowing that she's going to behave in the future, then that curse is attached to her breaking that vow. So let's see how the Gemara explains that. So Tanya, we looked at a Mishnah age text, which elaborates on Rabbi Meir's opinion that we just quoted in the Mishnah, which is, like Rabbi Meir Amen, it's about more than a third from the top of the page. The line begins with the word Ima, and the last word in the line is Reish Mem. See the colon in Reish Mem, the end of the line. And the next line of the words begins with the word Omer. See it or not?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So at the end of that line, Tanya, we looked at Mishnah each text. Loikish Omer Rabbi Meir Amen Shaloi Etma. When Rabbi Meir said that she takes upon herself and vows and affirms the vow that she will not behave in the future, she will not misbehave in the future. This does not mean Titma that if she will misbehave in the future, the water tests her or curses her now. Meaning to say, it's not as if this is a prophetic oath that the water, so to speak, knows the future. And if she's going to misbehave, she'll die now. That's not what this means. That's what the Gemara is clarifying. It doesn't mean that this is like a knowing the future type water that knows she's going to misbehave and therefore curses her now, even though she didn't misbehave. Now, I imagine the reason why this is rejected is because people have free choice. And even if at the moment the future holds that a person should misbehave, the person has free choice and can alter that. So to punish her now because an event she's going to do in the future doesn't seem right. So what does it mean? Ella rather, When she misbehaves, if she misbehaves, the water that she drank years ago or months ago or whatever it was, will now call her out and give her that curse. So in other words,
like a latent,
that's right. The water is not just effective when it's consumed, but once she's consumed that water and it's become part of her bloodstream, then that lies dormant and ready to activate whenever necessary. This is Ramir's view. So as soon as she misbehaves, it reactivates. But not to say that she'll die now because of some future event that didn't happen yet.
Prophetic.
That's not the case. That's right. Yeah.
What if her husband dies?
Yeah.
And he's got one brother, and the brother can't make up his mind, and he sees someone else, and he sees another one, until he finally says, "Okay, I'm going to take you."
Her.
So,
what's the law?
Does he have to pay anything for that?
For making her wait?
Does he pay a price for that?
For making her wait?
Yeah.
Well, during that time, she would have to. She lives on the estate of her deceased brother. Until that point, until she remarries the next brother, she lives on the estate of the previous brother.
So she lives with him right away.
No, she lives on the estate that her husband left her.
Not the marriage house.
Right, her ksuba and whatnot. Right, she still has the rights to whatever financial agreements were established in the first marriage.
She could force.
So she's not left hungry.
What happens
Sorry?
to the brothers? The other brother who can't make up his mind whether he wants her or not, and he's trying other women.
They don't know.
They didn't force him to make a choice, right?
Yes, but he's asking if she's being indecisive. I don't know. I suppose the Bezdin would have to come.
Indecisive, right?
I don't know. This is a scenario that Alan's suggesting. I don't know.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want her or not.
Yeah,
give me a chance. I want her. I want to play the field a bit.
I'm not sure. I don't think that would be. I don't know that the Bezdin would look at. I don't think the Bezdin would look at him very kindly if he behaved that way. But anyway, I don't know. We're not learning the laws of Yavam, but
It's like not fair to become the women all the time.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
I think there's a whole section of that in
There's a whole tractate called you in Rambam and in Talmud.
In the first chapter today, not long ago.
The laws of Yavam.
Yeah,
was in one chapter a day.
There's a lot of detail on that.
So you could probably find it in there. Yeah, I'm sure you can find it in there. His responsibilities. Okay. So coming back to the Sotah. Boy Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi asks the following question. And I mentioned this before, when the Gemara asks a question, introduces it with a certain phrasing, we know what kind of question it is. So the Gemara introduces it with the phrasing of Boy, then it's an inquiry in which the questioner has no agenda. The questioner just wants to know. So Rav Ashi wants to know, in Rabbi Meir's view, where the vow may include the future, that she will not misbehave in the future. So Mahu, what will be the law? Sheyasna Adam, that a person will add a condition to this vow, al nisuyun hacharonim, a later marriage. A later marriage. So he can throw into the mix, into this vow, that she's taking as a Sotah, right? The essence of the vow again is that she didn't misbehave with the person that she's being suspected. According to Meir, we can add, take upon yourself a vow, you will not misbehave in the future. And now Rabbi Ashi is asking, can we add that she will not misbehave in a future marriage? Should there be divorce or death in the middle and there's another marriage after, add to the vow, she won't misbehave in the future. So what are the two sides of the coin? Explains the Gemara. On the one hand, the limitations of what you may add to the vow are the kinds of relationships that would make him forbidden to her. Right? That's the limitations. So when a mayor says that you can add a vow to the future that she won't misbehave, it would be limited to the kind of misbehavior that would make him forbidden to her, which would seem to imply only so long as we're married. Anything after that point, I can't add into the vow.
That would be consistent with the Mishnah, right?
That's right. That's on the one hand. Or perhaps on the other hand, Zimnin, there are times, the Megarish law where he divorces her, while the Mahadlan, then he remarries her. So if he divorces her and she marries somebody else, she marries person B, divorces person B, then she's not allowed to remarry person A. But if he divorces her and then 2 months later regrets it and remarries her, that's perfectly fine. So the question is,
she had relations with someone in that interim period.
No, not in the interim period. In the interim period, we cannot include that in the vow because that relationship wouldn't make him forbidden to her because they weren't married during that time, right? But the question is, in the second marriage, he makes her vow that should I divorce you? Let's paint the timeline. She's a Sotah right now. This is their first marriage. So she's vowing that she didn't misbehave with the person that he's suspecting her with. Now he throws into the mix, like Rabbi Meir's opinion, take upon yourself a vow that you're not going to misbehave in the future. Included in that future is, should we divorce and remarry, in that second marriage, you take a vow now you're not going to misbehave. So here are the two sides of the coin. On the one hand, that forbidden relationship, should they divorce and remarry, does not invalidate the marriage we're in right now. And if it doesn't invalidate the marriage we're in right now, then it should be part of the vow. On the other hand, it's still us married there in that second marriage, hypothetically. And therefore, at that time, it would make you forbidden to me. And therefore, maybe I should include it in the vow. There's the two sides to the coin. Clear? Mm-hmm. It's a hypothetical. They obviously have a very complicated relationship where right now he's already preventing hypothetical in which they divorced, were married, and now she's unfaithful, and now she's suspected of unfaithful again. It's quite the rocky marriage. But this is a hypothetical that Rav Ashi is asking.
I was the woman, I'd say, what about you?
Sorry?
If I was a woman, I'd say, what about you?
I can see it.
Yeah. Well, the truth is actually we already established that just like the water curses her if she misbehaves, it also curses him if he misbehaves. So it goes, whatever he adds goes right back on him. That's clear. Yeah, were we clear on the hypothetical? Yeah, okay. So it says the Gemara this.
Okay.
What do you say?
No, I have my own thoughts about what that, how the outcome would be on that case. Because you have to remarry, right? There's a whole new ceremony. So you're not.
It's only one side of the coin.
Right.
Which is it's a new marriage. That's one side of the argument. The other side of the argument is, well, it's still us. And that relationship would still make you forbidden to me. So I'm adding to it.
That would be true that she wouldn't have to remarry. It would just.
She does have to remarry.
You just have to reconsummate.
No. She does have to remarry.
Right, she has to. So I would argue that it would not.
But it doesn't matter. That's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is, it doesn't matter. So long as that relationship would make me forbidden to you, I can add it to the vow. Who cares if I happen to have divorced you and got remarried in the middle? At the moment of that infidelity, it would make me forbidden to you. I'm adding it to the vow. Even if it so happens that we had to go through divorce and then remarry and all the rest of it. It's not about whether or not this marriage extends till there. This marriage does not extend till there. And yet at the moment of that divorce, of that infidelity, you would become forbidden to me. I'm adding it to the vow. That's all. Even if my marriage now does not extend till there. That's the point. It's a separate marriage completely. Agreed. This is the other side of the coin. But the other side is like what you said, that it's not the marriage we're in right now. So what are you adding it in for? Right? Those are the two sides of the coin. So the Gemara is going to look at the phrasing of the Mishnah itself to see if we can deduce some sort of consensus here. So says the Gemara. Tashma, come on, listen. Listen to the following phrasing of the Mishnah. Morning. Oh, can I get a glass, please, if you don't mind? Thank you. Okay, so the Mishnah says like this. Let's see the phrasing of the Mishnah. Hakol Shavin, all agree. This is the Mishnah's phrasing. Shalo Yaya Masnima, meaning both Rabbi Meir, which says you can include the future in the vow, and the other scholar, which says you cannot include the future in the vow. They both agree. Shalo Yaya Masna. They would not include in this vow, Ima with her. Loya Kardim Shittisaris. we cannot include a time before their engagement. And we cannot include in this vow anything that happens after their divorce. But the Mishnah is not done. The Mishnah continues. If after their divorce, she secluded herself with another man, then nitmas, and she was unfaithful during that time after their divorce. And then afterwards they remarried. That cannot be included in the vow. Why? Because at the time when she was promiscuous, they weren't married. And that would not invalidate their relationship. Following?
Yeah.
Okay. End quote from the Mishnah. So how did the Mishnah phrase it? The Mishnah phrased it like this. If she misbehaved and then they got married, we cannot include it in the vow. But what about if they remarried and then came the unfaithfulness? Seemingly, you would be able to include it in the vow. Because when the Mishnah excludes a future relationship from the vow, a future infidelity from the vow, the Mishnah says it's only after their divorce before they're marrying. But what if remarrying came before the infidelity? Then seemingly it is included. Clear? So Rabbi Meir, that means according to Rabbi Meir, thank you. According to Rabbi Meir, even if it happens to be another marriage, but if that infidelity makes me and you, thank you.
It voids the relationship.
That's right. If
that's the
correct, even though the current marriage will be over, and we're going to have a new marriage, but if that infidelity will make that new marriage or forbidden, you can still include it in the vow, even though that marriage doesn't exist yet, because it's only hypothetical if we were divorced and then remarried. But if we divorced, then in between the divorce, you were with another guy, and then we were married, I can't include that in the vow because that hypothetical would not render our relationship a problem because it was when we were separated, it was when we were divorced. Okay, so this is the Gemara's resolution. Shema Mina, indeed, we can derive from here that would be the law.
Seems like sound.
But imagine the complexity of this relationship. It's hypothetical.
Yeah.
She's currently a Sotah, which means he suspects her of infidelity. Then they divorce. Then they remarry. And then again, she's suspected of infidelity.
It all depends when.
It's quite a complex relationship, right? In this hypothetical.
Yeah.
The other hypothetical is where she was misbehaved during the time between divorce and remarriage, in which case we can't include it in the vow because that relationship doesn't render their marriage a problem because she was single at the time.
But if he suspects her infidelity, how can he just, without proof, how can he divorce her?
He can't. That's why he has the Sotah.
You said before.
Oh no, he divorced her randomly, not because of the suspecting. He divorced her just because, for whatever reason. He cannot. The truth is, a guy can divorce whenever he wants, but he doesn't have to divorce on us. It's a voluntary divorce. If he doesn't want to, he can go through the Sotah, which is what he's doing now, right? He's going to the Sotah to see if she's actually unfaithful because he suspects her. Okay. Now we have a related dispute, which is as follows. If a woman became a Sotah, so the husband suspects her, and they go to Jerusalem, and she drinks the water, and she survives. And let's assume she survived because she didn't misbehave. She didn't do anything. A couple months later, or a week later, or a month later, a year later, sometime later, she again is suspected. Again, he warns her with some other guy or the same guy. We'll discuss that also. But again, he warns her. And again, she secludes herself. And now he wants to take her to Jerusalem to make her drink the Sotah water again. Can he do that? Well, it depends. Let's think. What would Rabbi Meir say?
This time you should say, well, now I have.
Rabbi Meir would say, because the first water already covered the future, why should I? What, you can't drink now again?
Yeah, but you would that vow would attach to the first Sotah.
That's right.
So that
already this first Sotah covers.
That's
That's right. That's right. But on the other hand, if the Sotah water does not clarify what might happen in the future, then he could make her drink again.
You mean, what does that mean? You mean
Clarify as in like, will a cursor if she misbehaved in the future? If the answer is yes, then why drink again? You already have the latent potent, you have the latent.
Yeah, you have
you have the curse from the first time you drank. And the latent power that if she misbehaves, it'll revive itself. So why go drink the water again?
Right.
But if it doesn't check for the future, and now in the future she again is
It's not a proof positive that that's what happens. Meaning, in other words, that's Rabbi Meir's opinion, but it's not necessarily.
Well, then there would be another dispute. That's what the Gemara is going to introduce it now. Another dispute is whether or not we can make a woman drink the Sotah water more than once if she's suspecting more than once.
But that would mean that
following?
They don't follow
that would mean that's right. That would mean that the water she drank now will not validate or invalidate or curse her if she misbehaved in 6 months from now. And therefore, in 6 months, I have to drink again and again and again and again and again.
Second time, you better have witnesses.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. The Gemara is going through all the different scenarios. Is it the same guy we're suspecting? Is it another guy we're suspecting? Is it another marriage? Let's go through all the scenarios. Or at least we'll start it. Maybe tomorrow we'll continue. Our sages taught. The verse reads, Zois Toiras Hakanois. This is the law of the, quote, jealousies. And that goes on to say, if he warns her and she secludes herself and takes us through the whole proceeding of the Sotah. This is in Deuteronomy chapter 5, which we've looked up a number of times. Actually, this is at the end of the law. The end of the law, because the verse concludes by saying, this is the law of the jealousies. Okay. Now, it says, this is the law of the jealousies in the plural. In two of the words, you see plural. Tairais, this is the laws. Hakanais, of the jealousies, in the plural, implying that there could be more than one jealousy. Therefore, says this Mishnah.
More than one law.
Well, the laws are multiple because there's multiple laws, right? That there's multiple laws to the Sotah, but there's jealousies in the plural.
Yeah.
So Malamed, this teaches us, says this opinion, Sha'isa Shaisa, that a woman could drink the Sotah waters, Vishaina, and then end up drinking it again later, if later again the husband suspects it. This is one opinion. This is all hypothetical, right? Practically speaking, these people should see a therapist, but this is hypothetical. Okay, Rabbi Meir says, Zois, it says this, and the word this is in the singular, and not just singular, but the word this is very specific to teach you that a woman does not drink and then re-drink again. She drinks once and that's it.
Covers all future events.
Seemingly.
Wow.
Seemingly, Rabbi Yehuda would follow Rabbi Meir's opinion that it covers all future events. The Mishnah, the Gemara does not state explicitly that Rabbi Yehuda follows Rabbi Meir. I'm suggesting that perhaps they go along together. It could just be he says, you do it once and that's the end of it. We don't do it again.
What if she's a repeat offender?
But it says, too bad, only one shot. You got one shot with this law.
Wow.
Other opinion says, again and again. Okay. And they both derive it from the same three words. But the first opinion highlights the word jealousies. Rabbi Yehuda highlights the word zois, this, in the singular. This, and this is it, and no other. Only one. Amar Rabbi Yehuda.
But the outcome's the same. If you believe in the future.
Yeah, that's right. So it's not.
Look, don't worry about it. You're covered.
It's not for, that's right. So it's not for certain that this dispute follows the same dispute between Rabbi Meir and the other sages. I'm suggesting that it might go together, but you're right. It could be that it's not. It could be that the meaning Rabbi Meir could hold both of these. Or the other sages could hold both of these. But it would make sense they would be in line. Maybe not. You know what? Leave it alone. You're right. Leave it alone. Okay, let's see the story. Amar Rabbi Yehuda says, there was an event once, the Hayed Lefanenu, that Nachunya Chayfer Shichin, Nachunya, the well digger, testified before us, says Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Nachunya, the well digger, is Nachunya ben Hakana, who is called the well digger because he was very well known for digging wells for those who were traveling to make pilgrimage to the temple. He lived in the times of the temple, and he would dig wells on the path for those traveling. So the entourage and the caravans can drink water as they're traveling towards Jerusalem. Yeah. So there's a whole story with this. A whole miracle happened. His daughter almost drowned. Thanks to his mitzvah, his daughter was saved by Avraham Avinu. Whole long story. Anyway, he's called Nechunya, the well digger. Nechunya ben Akana. Shebuda says that Nechunya ben Akana told us. Nechunya the well digger told us. Sha'isa, Shaisa, V'Shaina, that a woman can drink and then end up drinking again if she's suspected. Yeah. V'kibalnu edusai v'shnei edus. And we accepted the witnesses with two. We accepted the testimony of two people, but not with one person. Meaning to say, only if it's two different husbands that we allow this woman to drink twice. Not if it's one. Not the same husband.
Sounds obvious. That sounds obvious.
He was a great sage. He was doing his mitzvah. Sorry?
That would seem to be obvious.
Not necessarily. We'll see.
Yeah.
So we have three events where we have three different ways of thinking about this. So if we have one unqualified statement, a woman can drink the Sotah again and again. Second opinion, cannot drink again and again, only once, because the verse says this. Third opinion, which says, Rabbi Nechunya ben Akana tells us, Rabbi Huda tells us from Rabbi Nechunya ben Akana, this well digger, not a well digger for a living, well digger for a mitzvah. To help the pilgrims drink. He said that they would accept testimony of a second time for a woman to drink again, but only if it's another marriage. If the first guy died and she remarried and then she was suspected again, then she drinks again. Okay. Fourth opinion.
It could be the brother.
Sorry?
Oh, no.
No, not necessarily brother.
Oh, that's right.
Just another man. The sages say, a woman does not drink or re-drink, only once. Whether it's the same husband, whether it's a second husband, whether it's two husbands. So 4 different phrasings of the law. Tomorrow we'll get into the details of exactly what they're thinking, and what are the details of, are they suspecting her of the same husband, the same guy, or is it a different guy? Right? Because there's two variables. Is it one husband or two husbands? Is it one person that she's suspected of, or two husbands, or two men she's suspected of? We'll get into that tomorrow. But for now, we have the Mishnaic text, which has 4 opinions, 4 statements. One that says she can drink and repeat. Another one that says no drinking and repeating, only once. A third opinion which says if it's 2 husbands, you can drink and repeat. A fourth opinion which says even if it's 2 husbands, you still can't drink and repeat. Tomorrow, the Gemara is going to detail for us, first of all, how they explain the verses, because the verse says this, implying only once. And the verse also says kena'os, jealousies, plural, implying more than once. So how do they reconcile both of these things? That's what we have to do, number 1. Number 2, the Gemara is going to introduce us the other variable, which is how many men are we suspecting her of? Is it the same? Is it the second time we make her drink the water? Is it the same guy that she's been suspected of? Is it 2 marriages, but both times she's suspected with the same third guy? Is it 1 marriage, but she's suspected of 2 different people? Is it 2 marriages, but it's 1 guy? Is it 1 marriage and 1 guy twice, again and again? There's all kinds of variables. Right. So we're going to get into that, God willing, tomorrow, and we're going to have a better, clearer vision as to exactly what this discussion is, whether she can drink the Sotah waters more than once.
What if she was married to 1 guy and fooling around with his brother, and then the guy dies, and the first husband dies?
Does she marry the brother?
Could she marry the brother?
I don't think so. Yeah. To the best of my knowledge, the answer is no.
Well, nobody knows about it.
Okay, nobody knows. We cannot judge. The rule is ein l'dayin elamash ein avroyes. A person can only judge that which they know about. We don't know. Nothing we can do about it. But by law, I don't think she would marry him. Because by law, a woman is not allowed to, when a woman's unfaithful, she's technically not allowed to live with her husband.
Actually,
And if she divorced, she's not allowed
chance
to,
of heaven, actually.
if she's, one second, she's unfaithful, she's not allowed to marry, she's not allowed to be with her husband. And she's also not allowed to marry the person with whom she was unfaithful.
Wow.
Yeah. And she'd be death by the hands of heaven. You're right, you're correct.
They would die by the hands of heaven.
If there's no, if we have no way of knowing what happened, then Hashem will take care of her. Yeah. Okay, wonderful day. More detail on the various on this woman hanging around with other men and all that.
What's the last thing? I know you probably say tomorrow, but Tavkut.
Tanakama
Okay.
means the first time. Well, let's go. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
That's the Gemara's analysis. Up until that point, there's a quote from the Mishnah text,
Right.
and then begins the Gemara's analysis, which we'll do tomorrow. Good morning. Okay, have a wonderful day.